Hi there, I'm Alex. You might not know me yet, but I'm a sound engineer by profession and, well, a curious soul by nature. For years, I've been fascinated by the power of sound, how it can evoke emotions, tell stories, and even uncover hidden truths. But I'm not just about cables and microphones. My life's been a symphony of searching for deeper meanings, both in sound and in silence. Why should you care? Because maybe, like me, you're drawn to the mysteries that lurk just beneath the surface of our everyday lives. What drives me? It's the thrill of discovery, the quest for understanding the unexplained. My world has been dominated by the tangible, the measurable, but I've always known there's more out there, more to our existence than meets the eye or the ear. And that's why I needed a change. The city life, the constant buzz, it was like a cacophony that drowned out the whispers of the unknown. I longed for quiet, for space to explore not just sound, but also the silence in between. That's what led me to the old house, this enigmatic place where my story takes a turn into the extraordinary. So, come along with me on this journey. It's not just about what I found in this house, but also about what found me. Trust me, it's a story you won't want to miss. The day I first saw the house, it was like stepping into another era. Nestled at the end of a sleepy, tree-lined street, it stood there, a relic of a bygone time. Its Victorian architecture, with intricate woodwork and stained glass windows, spoke of a meticulous craftsmanship long forgotten. But it wasn't just the architecture that drew me in. There was an aura about the place, a sense of stories untold, secrets held within its aging walls. Each creak of the floorboards, each whisper of the wind through the rafters seemed to beckon me, inviting me to uncover its mysteries. This house represented the change I was seeking, a quiet retreat from the relentless pace of the city. Its solitude was not of loneliness, but of peace, a sanctuary where I could listen, really listen, to the subtleties of sound and silence that the city had drowned out. Every room had its own character, from the cozy library brimming with old books to the attic that hummed with the echoes of the past. The garden, overgrown yet wildly beautiful, was like a secret haven, a place where time stood still and nature whispered its ancient tales. I felt a connection to this house, as if it had been waiting for me. It promised a journey not just into its own history, but into the depths of my passion for sound and beyond. Little did I know, it had much more in store for me than I could ever have imagined. My first encounter with the whispers was subtle, almost imperceptible. It started one quiet evening as I was reading in the library. A faint murmur, like a distant conversation, drifted through the room. I paused, listening intently, but it vanished as quickly as it came. Over the next few days, these murmurs grew more frequent. Whether I was in the kitchen, brewing coffee, or up in the attic rummaging through old trinkets, these whispers seemed to follow, a ghostly presence always just out of reach. I initially dismissed them as echoes of the house settling or the wind playing tricks. But there was something unnervingly rhythmic about these sounds, like a hidden language waiting to be deciphered. The whispers began to consume my thoughts. They were elusive, yet persistent, a puzzle that appealed to my inner sound engineer. I had to know more, to understand what these whispers were, why they seemed to speak to me. Nights turned into days as I immersed myself in this enigma. The once peaceful house now felt alive with a strange energy. I started recording, capturing every sound, every whisper that the walls offered. Each playback was a deep dive into an auditory labyrinth, searching for meaning in the midst of ambiguity. The more I listened, the more detached I became from everything else. Friends called, but I was too engrossed. Meals were forgotten, sleep was elusive. The whispers were no longer just sounds. They were a calling, leading me to something profound, something unsettling. And then, one evening, as I sat there, headphones on, the whispers became clearer, more pronounced. It was a moment of revelation, a turning point that marked the end of my ordinary life and the beginning of something entirely unknown. The whispers had now woven themselves into the very fabric of my existence. My every waking moment was consumed by their presence. They were no longer just sounds trapped within the walls. They had become echoes of a hidden truth, calling out to me. This wasn't just curiosity anymore. It was an obsession, a need to unravel the mystery that had enveloped my life. With every whisper I captured, I felt both closer to and farther from understanding. It was exhilarating and maddening in equal measure. Nights blurred into days. My health and sanity began to fray at the edges. I stopped meeting friends, answering calls, even stepping outside. The house and its whispers had become my entire world. Every creak and sigh of the structure seemed to speak directly to me, urging me on in my quest. The whispers were cryptic, elusive. Sometimes I thought I was close to understanding, only to be thrown back into confusion. It was a puzzle with no clear solution, a maze with no visible exit. Yet, I couldn't stop. The whispers had a hold on me, a grip that tightened with each passing day. My mind became a battleground between reason and obsession. Was I chasing shadows, or was there truly something profound waiting to be discovered? The house seemed to watch me, its walls whispering in a language only I could hear, yet couldn't fully understand. Then, one fateful night, as I sat there, drowning in the sea of whispers, something shifted. A clarity began to emerge from the chaos, a voice that sounded eerily familiar, yet impossible. It was a revelation that would change everything. In the suffocating silence of the night, the whispers morphed into a voice I knew too well, my own. It was an impossible scenario, my own voice speaking back to me from some unfathomable future. The shock was visceral, a cold wave crashing over me, leaving me gasping for air. My mind raced, grappling with the implausibility of it all. How could echoes of my future self exist? The whispers spoke of dark, uncertain events, a timeline that seemed both alien and terrifyingly personal. The absurdity of it was overwhelming, yet the reality was undeniable. There was a moment of crushing realization there was no turning back. The path I had walked down in search of answers had led me to an abyss. A hint of regret flickered within me, a wish that I had stopped when I still had the chance to live in blissful ignorance. But the odds of this happening, the sheer impossibility of it, was a siren call I couldn't resist. The darkness in the whispers was now a tangible presence, a cloud that hung over me, heavy with foreboding and a grim sense of inevitability. I was caught in the eye of a storm I had unwittingly summoned. The whispers, once a curiosity, now echoed with a haunting intensity. Each word was a reminder of a future I couldn't comprehend, a destiny that seemed both impossible and inescapable. In the face of this improbable reality, a part of me wished I had never heard the whispers. Yet, a deeper part of me knew that this journey was far from over. The whispers had changed everything, and there was no going back to the world I once knew. As days blurred into nights, the whispers evolved, growing darker, more ominous. They were no longer just fragments of speech. They had become harbingers of a future drenched in shadow. One whisper chilled me to the bone. It was my voice, crying out, "The fire takes everything." Another time, a hushed echo whispered, "Trust betrayed, the knife turns." Each word was a dagger to my heart, painting a picture of betrayal and loss. The more I listened, the more these whispers felt like cries for help from my future self, or perhaps just the inexorable unfolding of a predetermined path. I began to question everything. Were these whispers a warning, a chance to change my fate? Or were they simply the unchangeable narrative of my life? The uncertainty was maddening, a constant battle between hope and despair. One particularly haunting whisper said, "Alone in the end, the walls bear witness." It was a stark reminder of my isolation, the path I had chosen that led me here, to this moment of reckoning. Each whisper was a piece of a jigsaw puzzle, a grim tableau of a future I was powerless to prevent, or perhaps destined to cause. The whispers had become my world, a world where light dwindled into the long shadow of an unknown future. I realized then that there was no escaping these echoes. They had become a part of me, a relentless tide pulling me deeper into the abyss. The house, once a refuge, now echoed with the somber reality of these prophetic whispers. As I stand at the precipice of this revelation, I understand that the next whisper could change everything. Or perhaps it has already been written, and I am merely a spectator to my own story. In the final chapter of my journey with the whispers, I came to a harrowing realization. There was no light at the end of this tunnel, no redemption or salvation from the ominous future they foretold. The latest whisper, a cold, emotionless recitation, said the end is not the end, but a circle forever turning. The weight of these words was crushing. It wasn't just a prophecy of some tragic event. It was the realization that my fate was a loop, a cycle of darkness with no escape. The whispers had not been a warning or a guide. They were a sentence, a preordained path that I was doomed to walk. I understood then that my obsession had led me to this moment of truth, a truth that was as inevitable as it was bleak. The house, with its whispering walls, was no longer a sanctuary, but a prison, and I, its sole, unwilling inhabitant. There was a certain poetry in the tragedy of it all. The whispers, once a source of intrigue and hope, had become the architects of my despair, crafting a narrative I could neither change nor escape. In the end, the whispers faded, not because they had nothing more to say, but because their purpose had been fulfilled. They left me in a silence more profound and haunting than any sound. A silence filled with the echoes of a future that was already written, a destiny I was bound to fulfill. So here I am, sharing my story, not as a warning or a tale of caution, but as a testament to the inexorable power of fate. The whispers may have ceased, but their echoes linger in the walls, in the air, in the very essence of this house.